The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Today, we are going down memory lane once again, and we will be discussing the Wantley House. We would also like your feedback on a new segment that we are launching. But first, before we get into all of that, let's start off our episode with a feel-good question of the morning, which is really simple today. It is, what did you get into this weekend? And we see that Sean Smith is here with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith. So as you're coming in, let us know in the comments what you got into this weekend. Jackie and I will start off the conversation, and then we'll bring you guys into it. So Jack, what did you get into this weekend?
I played some tennis.
Okay.
Yeah, I played some tennis. I watched some tennis, and then I just went to a few baby showers to celebrate the new lives that are coming and have arrived. So I'm super excited about that. But it was pretty chill this weekend. I didn't really get into too much.
So when you played tennis, was it hot? Like, which day did you do tennis? Was it on Saturday or was it on Sunday?
So I played on Friday, and I just watched a little bit on Saturday. But I still teach, I still taught a little bit of tennis. So I was teaching. But I feel like 5:30, 6 o'clock on Friday, and it was hot. I was like, look at my tan, guys. I got burnt. So I've been sleeping and caking aloe one everywhere, lathering it up in some tea tree oil to try and help with the stings.
Yeah. As you're coming in, let us know in the comments what you got into this weekend. For myself, I tried to go check out, it's going to be our feel good vibe later on in the day, so I won't really share all of it, but I tried to go explore somewhere this weekend, and come to find out it was closed. And if you don't know, I don't have trans, so I have to catch public transportation and walk everywhere. So I basically walked to this location, and the lady was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we're closed." And I was like, "Your website didn't say you were going to be closed today." So I spent like a good hour and a half trying to get there, walking there. And I was just like, okay, well, at least I got to experience, at least I got the steps in. Like I made my 10,000 steps that day. That's for sure.
That makes me so sad because it's hot. And I'm just like, huh.
It was definitely hot. And I wore summer clothes, but it was still hot. Like, even though you wear clothes for the summer, it was still hot and sticky. It was very humid on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I started walking to the location, it was interesting. We have a comment here from Sheldon Jones. He says, good morning. He put together a new grill and tried to deal with the heat. Yeah. Grill, you say? Is that like a low-key invite?
I feel like it is. Like, hey guys.
We're grilling this weekend. Come by. I've never like done the cooking on the grill. Like, have you ever cooked on a grill, Jack? Or have you just ate the byproducts?
No, I've definitely put all the food together. I love it. It's fun. I mean, if my friends are there, sometimes they'll take over because I'll be in and out the house doing stuff. But yeah, I've definitely barbecued by myself. And then people have shown up because I've posted and they're like, no invite. And I'm like, you're welcome to come. There's plenty of food. Because I don't know how to cook. I need help learning how to cook just for myself, because it's always been me cooking for like the whole house and stuff. So I thought I did a great job. Like, I thought I've done a great job at cooking for myself. And then it's just so much food. So I tried to do it. Yeah, like, I don't know how to just do like 2 pieces of chicken. I'll do the family pack. And I'm like, well, if I have to do the family pack, now I have to make a pan of macaroni or a pan of peas and rice. And it gets out of hand real fast. So I'm always saying, hey, of course you always got access. There's plenty of food.
I want to say good morning to Amanda Kelly, who is watching with us. And if you are just joining us, as you're joining in, let us know in the comments what it is you got into this weekend. We have a comment here from Sean Smith Jack.
I chilled out all weekend watching movies with wifey. What you watch?
That was actually going to be my question. What did you watch and where did you watch it? Like, what streaming app or cable channel did you watch it on? Coming back to the whole grilling thing. So I've never grilled. I've ate the food, the byproduct. However, it's interesting now because I am plant-based and most people that grill meat. And so they always have to like create this little section of stuff for like just the plant-based stuff or the veggie stuff. Because even though people do grow veggies, they don't mind mixing, like cross-contamination. They don't mind that because they're eating meat still. But so when I go to my friend's house, he has like this little section of the grill that's like, okay, we're going to put your food here. And then when we're done with you, we'll cook the rest of the stuff over there as well, which I think is pretty cool. They're very accommodating, given the fact that I am like probably the only person in their friend circle that's probably plant-based for those occasions. It's fun. It works out in my favor sometimes.
That's awesome. I'm going to try and build a grill so that I don't have to keep taking it in every time it's hurricane season. Like, we're in hurricane season, basically. And so I usually have the barbecue outside, and then we find out bad weather's coming, so then we have to run out and move everything. It's too much work. So if I build it, all I would have to do is make sure the top is secure, which is easy. But other than that.
Okay, so I just thought about that. A stone grill. That's actually a smart idea. You're a smart cookie there, Jack. You're a smart cookie.
I have a lot of Pinterest ideas. And I just send them out to my friends saying, are you good at building? Can you do this? And a few people have come back and saying, Jack, I've done this before. It's so easy. I'm like, great. See you this weekend. And they're like, pardon? Yep. So, well, not this weekend, because I just realized we're coming up on Bermuda Heroes weekend. So the following weekend, unless they want to come up through the week, which is fine, because, you know, let's get it done.
You're open. You're available. Let's switch gears a bit and get into our feel-good topic of the day, which today is Monday. We typically do Memory Lane. However, we are going to be introducing a new segment, which will be a Made in Bermuda segment. So today we wanted to kind of do a hybrid of the two, a Made in Bermuda Memory Lane edition. So let us know in the comments any Bermudian-owned business, anything that you would like us to talk about for this Made in Bermuda segment, because what we plan to do is highlight a Bermudian-owned business, and how we would also probably like to still do some of the memory lane content, because we feel like that is still something that we should be talking about, which we'll get into shortly. We're going to be talking about the Wantley House. However, we do see some comments coming in. So let's go back to the audience. Sean Smith says that he has an Android box, so they watched Hallmark movies online. That's him and his wife who were watching movies over the weekend. And we have a comment here from BDA Bliss Women Jack.
Relaxed, enjoyed lunch views at Gibbs Lighthouse. Ooh, I haven't been up there in a while. And finished part 2 of the Lupin series on Netflix. I started to watch the second one too.
My mom was like into that. Like, so yesterday I did do my challenge, y'all. I caught up on my push-ups. I did my skipping after my run. So I did sort that out first thing in the morning. And so as I was coming in, my mom was watching Lupin. And I was like, let me just try to watch this little scene. And I'm watching the scene. It's really interesting. It's just like, it's trying to explain the series to me. And I'm like, I'll just go watch it. Like, it's fine. It's on Netflix. Yeah. Like, I can go watch it. So I'm trying to like leave the room, and she's still trying to explain it to me. I'm like, don't you want to watch this episode? So clearly the audience and Jackie are enjoying Lupin. So I feel like I too need to hop on the Lupin train so we can do like a Lupin conversation. We have a comment here from Amanda Kelly. She says she participated in a 24-hour global community prayer room, which was based in Bermuda while she is in Atlanta. So that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I haven't done a prayer room activity in a while. That's it. That's really good. Let us know in the comments as you're coming in what you got into this weekend. And Jackie and I are going to start talking about our feel good topic of the day, which is the Wantley House. So let us know in the comments as well if you've ever heard of the Wantley House. Is this something that you learned about in school? Maybe your parents talked to you about it, because it is a national treasure, in my humble opinion. However, it is currently coming under a bit of, I guess, concern, because it's on the books to be demolished. So Jack, let's talk about that, because it has a little bit of a special place in our hearts, because the Barclay Institute was founded from the person that owned the Wantley House, which is Samuel David Robinson. So from your perspective, Jack, when you first saw the story around the Wantley House coming up for demolishment shortly or soon, what were you thinking, given the history that it has for Barclay? And let us know in the comments too if you've heard about the Wantley House. Like I said, if you have any personal connection to, if your family has any personal connection to it, let us know in the comments.
I was upset. Like, I was actually vexed. I was big mad, because it's just like, once again, they're taking away our history without even notifying us that it could be saved. Like, you got us right at the end. Like, why wanted the discussion in the beginning? Because this is something that I just found out maybe a week ago. This first started coming out, or maybe I'm just becoming aware of it a week ago. But this should have been broadcast all over the place. We could have been doing community projects to refurbish it and bring it back to its original glory. And with it having so much history, not just for the Black community, but for the community period, I just don't see why we're just going to let it slide. There's definitely some, with it being Black history and having a Black government, I'm actually very disappointed. Because how do you not know about it, and how are you not fighting for it? I could be wrong. I could be putting blame and judgment on them prematurely, but it shouldn't have gotten to this point if you knew that it was becoming derelict.
Right. We actually, so to your point about the state, we have a comment here from Tara Lambert. She's asked, can someone tell me why National Trust didn't get involved prior to its current state? So we're going to get to that. So if you do have a response to that as a member of the audience, do let us know in the comments, because we would like to come back to that, because I see this other comment from Kivane Haynes. She didn't know much about it until she saw the Birmingham snippet. That's also kind of my thing as well. Like, until I saw the Birmingham snippet, did I actually go say, okay, let me look into this. And then I came up on the Burn News story around, the countdown basically towards the demolishment. And coming back to the question around the National Trust, I don't have the answer, one, but I feel like it's also a little bit sad that we don't have the answer, because this is a building that we shouldn't have let get to the point that it's at now, where, people have, used it as shelter because they're homeless, when it could have possibly been a homeless shelter, right? Like, they could have renovated it to make it available to people who don't have a place to stay, because given the story, and if you have not read the story around the Wantley House, we will share some snippets from the excerpt, but we will drop the link on our social media so that you can read it. It's only a 3-minute read, so we could read the whole thing to you, but we kind of want to have more of a conversation around it, because it was built back in the 1800s, late 1800s, and for it to have stood the test of time, hurricanes, all the weather that we get here, and for it to still be standing, sure, it's derelict, it definitely needs some work done, but for it to stand the test of time, and for no one since it was back in the 2008 when it was sold to the Bermuda Housing Corporation, from then till now, no one said, let's work on this piece by piece, because I know my mom shared with me over time that back in the day when people were building homes, they would, build a room at a time. Like, they would get everyone together in the community and they would build a specific room. And then, let's say for whatever reason, they don't have the funds, they don't have the manpower, they'll stop the project and then they'll come back to it. So I kind of feel like it's sad that we lost that sense of community and that sense of let's work on this project together instead of just letting it get to the place where it's at. So
I think that sorry, no, let's go to the comments.
We have some comments and then we'll come back to it. Here's a comment from Jamal Jack.
Burn the thing down. Who cares? It's a building no one cared about all this time. Let it go, folks. Folks love to make noise on command.
That's an interesting point of view. I definitely feel like it definitely wasn't, I've seen it, but it definitely wasn't something that I knew about. And I feel like that's also part of the conversation too. Like, why did we go so long not knowing about it in our community? And then now why are we all of a sudden concerned about it as well? So let us know in the comments how you feel about the fact that now it's become a popular topic. Like, let us know in the comments, because most of us didn't even know about it up until recently.
Yep. I get what Jamal's saying, but at the same time, we didn't know about it to care about it. And why didn't we know about it to care about it? So now that we know the history, know the importance behind it, why not save it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so just because I didn't know that there was a dog on the road that didn't get fed, not all of a sudden just put it down versus trying to bring it back to life and care for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something behind this. Because if that's the case, there's a few other places that are of history that should just be burned down and thrown in the back and forgotten about. This is Black history.
Oh, wait. Whoops. That wasn't the comment I wanted. This was the comment from Tara I wanted to bring up. It's history and Black history at that. So she's not surprised, but she is saddened. Then we have another comment from Tara. She says, Bermudian history is often not passed down. That's the flaw of the education system, too. So, yeah, let's touch on that because, I mean, like we said, Jack, we both went to Berkeley. However, I don't remember this story around the Wantley House. I could be mistaken because it was some years ago, but I don't necessarily. I do remember the story around, like, you know, the founders and Samuel Robinson being a founder, but the Wantley House specifically, I don't remember that being a part of the conversation. And I do feel like brands like Burn Memes and Burn News and Curb sharing the information, getting the public into the conversation is very helpful, right? Because until you don't know what you don't know. And then when you know, you have a choice. Like, should you walk away from the Wantley House? Should you walk away from these prominent buildings around the island? Or should you at least learn their story and see what you can do about making a change? You know, maybe it is burn down the Wantley House, rebuild it in the 21st century to carry on that legacy, or maybe it is just renovate it.
And who's going to earn it and who's going to benefit it? Which people are going to earn that land? Like, are we ever going to get it back as Blacks? Well, like, obviously we don't have it anymore, but like, just not, again, more lost history.
Exactly. And we actually have a comment here from Charles Jeffert II. He says, this makes me wonder what other historical buildings are currently being ignored and are in despair. And that's also why we want to talk about it, right? Because if there are historical buildings that are just out there that we don't know about, and until someone finds that aha moment, like, I wonder about this, or someone says to them, you know, that building right there that used to be owned by so and so, and he used to be this person in government, this prominent Black person, until you know that story, you unfortunately can't do anything about it. And so we have some more comments coming in. We have a comment here from Sheldon Jones. Jack.
The bright side is that its proposed demolition has brought its history to the forefront. Absolutely.
Yeah,
because I didn't know about it until they started to fight for it. And I'm sitting here like Charles Jeffers said, what other buildings do we not know about that hold more of our history? We're constantly being blindsided and, you know, blindfolded, and then boom, we're finding out too late. We're always late to the game.
We're super late to the game. We have a comment here from Jamal. He says, save it for what? There's something behind everything. Do we save every building because of who built it or when it was built? If a building isn't serving a purpose, then let it go. Who has a plan? I think that's also why bringing it to the forefront now is important, because if we don't want to get rid of the history, or we do want to get rid of the building, okay, cool. But what is the next step? And if the next step is to restore it and make it into a museum, that's one thing I saw on social media. I didn't see anyone like saying if we demolish it, what we do next with it. But I definitely saw the point around making it into a museum, which I think is really good, because of the museums that we have, very few of them focus on the Black story in Bermuda. Very few of them talk about our history. You do have tours that kind of tell you around like different buildings, what they represent. However, I think having that would be a really dope, I guess, piece of history for us to explore. We have another comment here from Carlton Fleming, Jack.
It should have never gotten to this point. There's been housing shortages for decades. Yeah.
And the BHC owns it. Like the Bermuda Housing Corporation are the people that owns it. And then we have another comment here from Tara Lambert. She says, great point. I know Elliot has its original schoolhouse too, which that's really what it's all about to me. At the end of the day, as long as we keep the history alive, whether the building stays or not, is kind of could be beyond us. It could not be beyond us. But as long as the history doesn't die, and as long as we continue to research our history, I think that that's really what this entire conversation is all about. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about the Wantley House, which is currently on the brinks of demolishment. However, although the story around the demolishment is sad for some of us who didn't know about the Wantley House and its legacy, it is bringing a lot of conversation around the history of the building, as well as we just talked about. Charles Jeffers left us a comment that said, like, what other buildings are out there that we probably could be unaware of, that we could save. So let us know in the comments if you do know of other buildings similar to the Wantley House that are, possibly just sitting out there derelict, sitting out there on the brink of possibly needing to be demolished. And so that Jackie and I can probably look into that and see what else is out there that maybe we don't take on the project of saving it, but we'll at least bring the conversation to the audience so that we can talk about it, so that, as we go about our days, we can continue to educate each other. Because I do feel like that's also the importance of having these conversations, is the more that, you see the information, you can share them with people who may not have seen the Burr News story or the Burr Memes post to even know that a piece of our history is in jeopardy. We have some more comments coming in, Jack. Here's one from Jamal.
Hopefully this brings to light the problem of derelict buildings on island. Yeah, there are a lot. And obviously when you drive around, you find out who's inherited it, the family issues that lie behind why it has been let go. And, we got to do something.
Absolutely. We have a comment here from Tara Lambert. She says, we have many buildings around the island that could be repurposed, but they are ignored or forgotten to become an eyesore. Absolutely. Let us know in the comments if there's any buildings you've seen around the island that could possibly be, repurposed, and what areas you've seen them in. Like, are they concentrated? Have you seen them more concentrated on the east, central, or the west? Do you feel like it's, I guess, equal opportunity for all parishes to have derelict buildings? Let us know in the comments some of the, I guess, solutions that we can have. So if the Wantley House does become demolished, or if they do put it out for the public to kind of share ways that we can reuse the space, recreate the building, let us know in the comments some of your ideas around what they can do with the Wantley House. And we have this one more comment from Jamal. He says, the history seems to have been dead, which is why no one knew about it. This is true. So let's talk about the fact that the history around the Wantley House kind of disintegrated, disappeared, was no longer talked about, unspoken, because the legacy, I would reckon, went up until 2008, right? Because that's when it was sold over to the Bermuda Housing Corporation. So up until then, I find it interesting that we weren't talking about that as a community, because he is a prominent Black figure. Like, when you really break down his story, he was a businessman at the time, created the Barclay Institute, went on to do some other amazing things, and yet he's not a national hero? ? We have a comment here from Sheldon Jones. He asks, are there any charities or organizations that take on restoration projects of Black history locations? That is a great question that I know that I don't have the answer to right now. However, Jack, do you have the answer?
I don't, but I'm definitely going to look into it, because as Tara stated, the Bermuda Trust should have jumped in, but I'm trying to figure out what the criteria is to be a part of, because you have listed houses that are protected on islands, and you can put in for funding to help restore and keep it at its, original state. but I'm wondering what the criteria is, because I know a few houses that are, and they only tour, and you can go and visit these houses and get the history behind these houses, the architecture and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering why this one in particular, so much history and power behind it, because, you know, a whole school came out of it. And if you went to Berkeley, you know what that means. Like, it's one of the, yeah. Anyway, if you know about Berkeley, you should know that this is a sad day if it ever gets demolished. So hopefully we can do something, because it's also Earl Bermuda architect. Not everything's made like that these days, or people don't want it to be made like that these days.
Yeah, and I actually just went on the National Museum of Bermuda's website. So the article about Wantley was written back in December 2020, and they do have a donate button on their website. So at the very least, if you donate to the museum, I'm pretty sure that you can, because I know with most museum organizations, you can tell them where you want the funding to go. So like if there's a specific project that you want them to direct this funding towards, you could absolutely do that. So Jack and I will venture to maybe just read through their website a bit further, but we will also drop that on our social media so that you can take that on as well to research, because that is a very interesting question that didn't become a part of the conversation when, you know, we were talking about just the fact that Wantley is close or on the potential brink of being demolished. We have some more comments coming in, Jack. We have this one by Charles Jeffers II.
There's a tour this Saturday called Exploring Bermuda's Black Maca Tour. It starts at 9 on the corner of Princess and Dundonald Street. I start work at 8.
I definitely might go do that because that's my birthday. So I might try to do that. So I definitely might try to do that. It's just if the ferry's running, that's the thing. That's also, and you know, there's potential work to real action coming out this week, and
I can pick you up and drop you off. You'll just be there super early.
Super early. All right, we might make that happen. I'll definitely see if I can get my ticket to that tour, because I do love those tours. I hope it's a walking tour too, because I need to get my steps in.
More steps.
I love the steps. I love the steps. We have another comment here from Sean Smith. He says, I've always believed that government-owned buildings should be brought to the attention of the BEDC for small businesses' use as offices. Let the businesses fix them up for periods where they don't pay rent. That's actually pretty interesting, because it's like a 2-for-1 special, right? Because the space gets occupied. There is commercial real estate being used in the city or close enough to the city, whereas you're back on the grid, you're putting some electricity onto the grid. So we're getting, you know, usage out of electricity that we're generating. And then you also get, like, not free labor, but you do get them to work on the space that they are occupying at the same time. So it's kind of like, it's definitely one of those mutually beneficial ideals. Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's a really good idea. That's very interesting that didn't come up in the conversation from reading the article related to Wantley House being saved. I wonder, so they do have some email addresses on the website where they have, on the Burn News article, it says, we urge the public to express their concern and hope for this important site of memory by emailing the BHC info@bhc.bm or curb@uprootingracism.org. So we will drop those links for you all if you are interested in, like, you know, sharing your concerns, sharing your solutions to if they do demolish it or if they don't demolish it. We will drop that information for you, because although we're getting the conversation started pretty early here on this Monday morning, we definitely want it to continue beyond today and into the rest of the week, over the next few weeks, months, however long it takes for a resolution to come. And as we find any other potential landmarks on the island that are possibly on the brink of the same demolishment, we'll definitely try to bring those conversations to you, because although Jackie and I are rather young, we're still interested in learning more about our island and being a part of this conversation, because we're the next generation, and we do appreciate everyone who joins us for, like, engaging us in conversation and sharing things with us that we may not have known about, and then also finding out some things from us that they didn't know about. We do feel like it's been a really great, what are we, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks into this game? We're getting old.
We're aging so well.
We're aging gracefully. Let us know in the comments if you actually said, since we brought up the tour, the Exploring Bermuda's Black Mecca tour. Let us know in the comments if you don't have any plans on Saturday, if you would potentially join that tour. Yes, it's early in the morning. However, I think that just talking about this potential demolishment of Wantley House, it brings to the forefront why that tour matters, why things like that particular tour matter for us, because someone else has already done the research, so we don't necessarily have to go and figure all this out on our own. We can explore and learn from someone else. So let us know in the comments if you would be interested in going on that tour. I'm pretty sure they have a limit because we still have restrictions on group gatherings, so we don't want to overwhelm them. However, I would like to see if there's going to be anyone from the Good Day Bermuda family in there, because I would like to meet you in person. So let us know in the comments if you will be coming out to that tour. And if you just joined us later on and you didn't let us know what you did this weekend, let us know in the comments, because Jackie and I did share what we did, but we would like to hear from some other audience members. So let us know in the comments what you did over the weekend. Jack, from your perspective, if they recreate Wantley as a museum, what will be some of the things you would like to see in that museum?
Because of it's Black history, some Black Bermudian artists, because we were talking about Made in Bermuda, so we have a lot of artists coming up. You have a few friends that do art, and be able to stage some of their art, as well as some local books, authors, some history, as well as it'll be nice to have like a little library area. So when I say the books, you can actually sit down, read them, a few cozy areas, and make it a safe space. And if by chance, because of where it's located, it could be convenient for some people, maybe even throw in a little daycare area. I have to go and see the layout and see what we can do with it. But I feel like there's a lot of options, throw in some community gardens, stuff like that. Obviously, you can move it around and change it up, but I'd have to go and see and look. But I feel like there's a lot of options.
There definitely are. And then so we have a comment here from Sheldon Jones. He says he's interested in doing the tour. So I'll definitely talk to Sheldon on social media and in real life to see if he's actually going to be joining or actually going to be going, because I absolutely would love to explore that. I mean, I would go by myself, but I definitely don't mind going with someone else. So as we wrap up today's show, let us know in the comments if you are going to be continuing this conversation around Wantley with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Let us know in the comments what you plan to do as it relates to the Wantley building. And if there's any other buildings on the island that you find, what are your plans to either save them or have a plan for, if they do get demolished, what the next step could be. Do make sure you stick around to 8 a.m. because the Daily Hour will be coming up, and Carla John will be on the show talking about diversity and symbolism. So do make sure that you come back at 8 a.m. to check out Jamal, Michaela, and Liana, who'll be giving you your news break. So make sure that you stick around to watch the Daily Hour at 8 a.m. We have a comment here from Amanda Kelly. Jack.
Berkeley's Founders Day could be incorporated around the Wantley House. No longer do we walk from the start to the finish.
Interesting. I didn't do Founders Day over the last couple of years. I don't remember anything. I'm not even a part of the Alumni Association. I feel like I am being made to feel like a stepchild.
What did you do? What did you do? Did you forget to write down your email address?
Like, I'm really concerned because I find out about like old Berkeley things super late in the game, and I'm just like, don't we have an alumni association? Why am I not a part of that? I'm going to sort that out. I'm going to call the principal because she's my old advisor. So I need to sort that out. I need to figure out what's going on with that. So as we wrap up today's show, we do want to share with you the feel good vibe of the day, which is, if you did not join us earlier in the episode, I shared that I tried to go to this place over the weekend, but they were closed for a private wedding. So this weekend, I will be trying to go to the Masterworks Gallery because until June 29th, they will be showing the the peaceful art protest, which, if you remember, back in June 2020, I believe it was June 7th, we had the Black Lives Matter march, the peaceful march. And so they commissioned, or they requested for artists around the island to submit their peaceful art. And so they have an entire showcase going on until the end of this month. We will drop their website that you can learn more information about that. They are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. However, I would recommend that you call ahead on the weekends, because they may have a private event that they don't put up on their website, or that, I guess with private events, they don't include them in their calendar. But that is something that I am going to be trying to do this weekend. So if you would like to join me, let me know, because that'll be fun as well. I know Jack works early in the day, so she's not going to be able to come with me. But Jackie, do make sure you check it out, because you can go during the week.
Yeah, I can.
You can check it out
on Wednesday. I'm going to try and go on Wednesday.
Perfect. So we'll both come back next week with our experience for you all. And if you don't get to Masterworks before, or if you do get to Masterworks before Jackie and I, don't spoil it for us. We will probably spoil it for you all if you don't go.
You can share your excitement. You can share your excitement. Just don't give any, spoilers.
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments if you would be interested in going to check out that art gallery, that showcase, that's the term that the artist folks use. People think I'm an artist, and I really have to raise my eyebrow, because I'm like, I'm not.
I'm an artist.
Really not.
I'm an artist.
Are you, Jack?
Yep. It's a little abstract, but it looks good. It's colorful. It's pretty. I'll show you guys one day.
You actually have to show us this week, now that you mention it. Before the end of this week, you have to show us your art, because the audience and myself are very interested in seeing how you stack against the Masterworks artists.
I'll do it on Wednesday. We could do a comparative.
We can definitely do a comparative. Absolutely. So we do want to give thanks to you all for watching us. Do let us know in the comments what you thought about today's episode. What did you learn? What did you take away? What are some of the things that you enjoyed about today's episode? Jack, as we wrap up, let us know quickly, what did you think about today's episode?
I loved it. We need to know more about what's happening on our island, not just, based on Black history, but all history, because it needs to be protected. And, I'm excited for your tour, for you to actually get to it.
Yes, I'm actually excited about that too. That's actually one of my takeaways from today's episode, was the finding out about the Black Mecca tour, because I do enjoy those tours, as many of them as I can do. I know that there is some tours coming up next month and in August that I want to try to do. So I haven't decided the date yet, so that's why I haven't shared it as yet. But once I do decide my dates, I'll definitely share with the audience, so that if you guys are interested as well, we can go as a group, or we can go individually and share our experiences together on the show. In the comments, Jack and I can chat with you all about it, because the more we have these conversations, the easier it will be for us to pass on the history. I do feel like that's why the history doesn't get passed on as often as we would like it to, because the conversations are a little bit jarred. Sometimes they feel like they're a little bit disconnected, and that could be, generational things that we all just need to work on as a collective. So as Jackie and I wrap up, we do hope that today's episode has you ready to make it a great day. I am Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.